I earned my degree online at Arizona State University. I chose to get my degree at ASU because I knew that I'd get a quality education, they were recognized for excellence, and that I would be prepared for the workforce upon graduating. To be associated with ASU, both as a student and alum, it makes me extremely proud, and having experienced the program, I know now that I'm set up for success. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
No, not today. Rooster, not today. Coffee. Need coffee. All right, now we're talking.
Disclaimer: Morning Crankers is not responsible for coffee snorts, keyboard drool, awkward public laughter, spontaneous twerking, or any texts you regret after listening. Side effects may include joy, confusion, and the realization that your sense of humor needs therapy. If symptoms persist, don't call us. We're not that kind of show. Now then, good morning, you half-awake, chaos-loving, life-on-hard mode, champions of Earth. This is Morning Crankers, the show that slaps harder than a grandma with a fly swatter. Jokes are fresh, filters are off, and dignity left the chat hours ago. So grab your caffeine, hug your poor decisions, and brace yourself for the ride. Welcome to Morning Crankers.
Morning Crankers. It's the first day of October. Man, this year is flying by. I can't believe, I really can't believe where we're at in the year. It seems like summer's gone already. Yeah, summer's gone. You know, the leaves, they're starting to go away. Yeah, it is what it is. Welcome to Morning Crankers. I'm Hans. Yes, my partner from another mother, that guy. He's still, chasing cheese dreams. It is what it is. Don't know when he's coming back. Don't know if he's coming back. We think he is, but we're not sure. But we may be taking applications for somebody else to come in here and fill a spot. And if not, it's just going to be me. And, with some guest appearances here and there, if you know what I'm saying, for the Morning Cranker crew. But it's National Jiffy Mix Day. Anybody do Jiffy? I mean, do you make the biscuits anymore? Does anybody? Jiffy, they have the cornbread muffins too, those things. I kind of like those. I'm not going to lie. It is what it is. We have a packed show for you today. It's also kind of a healthy day, especially if you're one of the kids. We have a major fat kid problem in America, the obesity problem. Maybe it's because, our country has more kids that are on drugs. I'm not talking about illegal drugs. I'm talking about, the pharmaceutical mafia that's pushing that into our kids. Could it be that? I mean, psychotropics, we have more kids on psychotropics than anywhere in the world. Well, today is National Walk to School Day, which is great. Unless there's some crazy somewhere that are going to do something crazy to your kids. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of sad that we have to think like that. I remember walking to school when I was a kid. I don't know. It kind of seems like kids have gotten a little bit whimsical, maybe a little bit wimpish, if you know what I'm saying today, because Walk to School Day, walking to school was the fun. Okay, it was the fun. Now, I grew up in the area where the frozen tundra lives, okay? So, we had a lot of cold days. And you know what? Sometimes people, I'm not saying, I'm just saying, sometimes kids would make snowballs the day before, okay? So when you came back out the next day, those snowballs were hidden, all right? And we'd have snowball fights, and occasionally they would turn to ice balls and things like that. But we did a lot of walking back from school together. okay, in groups of kids, okay? And we didn't have the problems like people getting abducted or, people crying about this. We just didn't have that problem. So, I'm glad to see that first Wednesday in October every year is National Walk to School Day. We should do a better job of protecting our children, but we got to get back to some semblance of life. You learn a lot of lessons. You do when you're walking to school, okay? It's like that first push when you're out on your own and it's like, I'm going to defeat the world. I'm independent now. My Nikes are walking through the snow. You know what I'm saying? It's also National Pumpkin Seed Day, okay? I'm not one of them, okay? I don't really like pumpkin seeds. And my daughter, she goes to this place called 7 Brew. And she goes there the other night and she gets a pumpkin latte, cold iced coffee. It was okay. And I was like, it's okay. And she's like, well, it should be for $7. And I'm like, I don't know if I've ever had a cup of coffee in my life that's worth $7, $8, $9. Okay. And then this next day, I didn't even know it was a thing. The first Wednesday of every October, it's National Coffee with a Cop Day. So if you see your buddies with the red and blues, stop and grab them a coffee. Sit there and, pick the hay with them. You know what I'm saying? Just talk to them. Say, hey, we know you got a damn tough job. We're glad you're doing it. Just don't give me any tickets when I'm on my way to work. Okay? It is what it is. It's also National Fire Pup Day. Okay? For all the canines that work in the fire departments. Yeah, it's National Fire Pup Day. So maybe you want to stop and grab some treats and drop them off at your local fire station for their fire pup. So, how's everybody been doing with all of the crazy stuff going on? Okay. Speaking of crazy stuff, it's also National Green City Day. Okay. What makes a city green? Literally, I would like to know what makes a city green. And is that any good? Because everything that I have seen has pointed to the direction of a lot of fraud going into this green energy. I mean, the president of the United States and a lot of his advisors and economists and everybody, well, this is working. Solar's kind of working, but we just, every time we get a system built, it's being replaced by a new system. We see it happening. So what do you do? Who knows? But I would like to see the statistics, wouldn't you? Like the blabbering bullshit that they usually tell us. Wouldn't you rather hear some real statistics that aren't politicized, that aren't anything like, okay, where is my hard-working tax money going? You say it's for green energy. Is it? Okay. Maybe instead of putting up that wind turbine, how about we fix Main Street? I just me thinking out loud. But it's also a beautiful family day today because it's National Homemade Cookie Day. Now, there are a couple guys and gals out there that didn't have a mother or a grandmother that didn't teach them how to make chocolate chip cookies, sugar cookies, snickerdoodles, peanut butter. I mean, you name it, there is a million different cookies, and it's National Homemade Cookie Day, okay? So don't be a prick. If you see those kids on the side of the road and they've got a lemonade stand going and they're selling homemade cookies, buy some. Okay, don't be a dick. Don't say nothing. Don't say, where's your permit? That'll get your teeth knocked out. Okay, it is what it is. But I'm looking through and I go through these stories for today, just, weird, random, awesome, funny stories. And I got one and it was so crazy. I decided to look a couple things up, okay? Now, Microsoft did a study, okay? And this is for making money, so you know that the study's real. And in 2015, Microsoft, this is 10 years ago, said that the average human in America, their attention span had dropped from 12 seconds to 8 seconds. How is that? 8 seconds. You have 8 seconds to grab somebody's attention. Well, they say that it's misleading because attention span is highly variable and depends on the specific task and individual interest. Well, duh. Okay, we're just talking about the averages here, the averages. So, I mean, can it be misleading? Well, I guess it's different. You know, it's not like a 17-year-old looking at a porn mag here. We're talking about the normal person looking at something and how long their attention span is. Okay, so this gal, I feel bad for her, I really do. And it's the 1st of October. Okay, so, it is what it is. We're flipping over into a new month. It's a new chapter. And I wanted to read some stories today that would make you feel better. And this one should make you feel better, or maybe if you're that person, it might make you feel stupid. Okay, so I got a few stories today that kind of proves that as human beings, we're just kind of winging it. All right, this woman literally forgot her pants. Not the socks, not the belt, but pants, okay? So it kind of goes into that whole thing again. How much was her attention span affected by the life she's living? Well, to go through these today, we got a Florida principal who turned Walmart's self-checkout into his personal discount program for $37. We're going to talk about that. UK criminal who tried to carjack cops using a paper bag. Jerry Jones has something kind of weird that he said about the game the other night. And, I am devastated, okay, as a Packer fan. As a Packer fan, I've always prided myself. We don't play to tie. And then my dreams were shattered. Like somebody leaving Harvard looking for a good job that has a major degree. Okay, it is what it is. But you know what? I was just shattered. And, thank goodness that our bye week is coming up, because we have some major soul searching to do as Packer fans and as a Packer team. Okay, we come out, we smash two of the best teams in the NFL, week 1 and 2. We go in and we travel to the Browns, and we got thumped. Okay, not bad, but 13-10, because what it should have been is like 35-0. But, I can't say that. I mean, the Browns defense is pretty good. And then we go into Dallas. Okay, and Dallas is an arch enemy. I mean, not quite as bad as the Bears, but it's getting there. And they just had a terrible year. We're waiting for Micah Parsons to shine and everything else. And Micah Parsons got one good stop Dak from getting a touchdown. But other than that, a very disappointing day. And at the end, we had one play left for glory. We had one play to throw into the end zone. And Coach LaFleur decides to send the kicking team out and kick a field goal for the tie. It was heartbreaking as a Packer fan. Heartbreaking. I don't believe in ties. I either want to lose with dignity or play for the win. And most of the time, that happens to the same. So, anyways, Bad Bunny. Okay, that was announced that for the NFL halftime show, they're bringing in Bad Bunny. Now, I want you to keep in mind, Bad Bunny is super political. No matter what side of the aisle you sit on, he is a leftist. Okay, he's kind of like past Democrats. He's a super leftist. He hates the current administration. And as a matter of fact, he won't even do shows in America because he's afraid that the people that would show up for his shows would be detained by ICE and sent back to Mexico. Now, keep in mind, Bad Bunny, he's from Puerto Rico. So, I mean, hey, it is what it is. Then we're going to talk about 200 pounds of stolen mail. Why? Well, who knows? And then, you know what? We've got a story about 2 golf meltdowns that kind of prove that rich guys, well, they lose their, you know what, just like the rest of us. So grab your coffee, folks, and check to make sure that you're wearing pants, and let's get to it. Picture this. 6 a.m, you work the night shift. You're completely exhausted. Your brain is operating on caffeine fumes and spite. But you wake up, you stumble through the dark, grab your keys, grab your phone, grab your wallet, and you walk out the door. And And 10 minutes later, you look down and realize you're not wearing pants. This literally happened to a woman in Birmingham, England. She walked out in a hoodie and her underwear. That's it. Kind of like a full Winnie the Pooh situation. Okay, she didn't realize till she was halfway to work. Not in the driveway, not at the first stoplight, halfway. Which means this woman passed other cars, probably, past neighbors, maybe waved at them, all while rocking the Donald Duck look. All right, well, every single person that listens to this show, if you're a cranker, you've had an autopilot warning. Okay, you know what I'm saying, right? But there's autopilot, and then you completely forget about an entire category of clothing, especially pants. I mean, wouldn't you get cold? Guys, this had to have been a gal because guys would notice. Okay, it's the cold, hot thing. It's the, hangers, and then it's the, and if you know. But here's the thing. I kind of respect it. No pants. Literally 15 minutes saved. You're not digging through laundry. You're not looking for a belt to match the pants. If you can find the belt or the pants, and the pants, you don't want them all wrinkly and stuff. So ultimate efficiency. Okay, you want to get to work fast, don't wear pants. Ultimate efficiency. You don't have to find them. You don't have to iron them. You don't have to look for a belt. Boom. Goodness. Now, the bad side of this is if you ever showed up to work and you didn't have pants on, would your coworkers ever let that down? Ever. Every meeting for the next 10 years, it would be merciless. Hey, Jeremy, you ready for the presentation? You got all your materials, got your pants? Yeah, Well, here's my question, crankers. What's the weirdest thing that you've ever left the house without? Okay, hit me up at morningcrankers@gmail.com, or you can go to the website at morningcrankers.com. Hit me up because I really want to know if anybody can top I didn't have pants. Okay, now I'll tell you some of the things that I've done. I've came in, with a key fob, set my key fob on the table, and then left the house, and my car was dinging, didn't know why, wasn't paying attention. Well, it's because the key fob was there. So I got somewhere, and luckily I didn't shut the car off. I had to turn all the way around, come back, get my key fob. It is what it is. I've also been one of those people that I have looked for my cell phone when it was in my hand. Okay, and I'm not mentally ill. I just, where did I put my cell phone? And I'm looking all over for it, and here it's in my hand. The other thing, before, I'm old enough to remember, before cell phones came out, like early 90s, mid 90s, late 90s, and everybody wanted to have the really nice sunglasses. You know what I'm talking about? And you lost sunglasses. I mean, you just lost sunglasses. And I can't tell you how many times that I've looked for my sunglasses and they were on the top of my damn head. All right. It is what it is. Now, Walmart, you got to love them. You really do got to love them. And now they've announced something new. Okay. Every time I'm in Walmart, I hear somebody complaining about self-checkout. And I don't blame them. I mean, who does blame them? You see the prices constantly rise, and then you see their new guards, the retirees that waddle in and stand in front of the door like, who are they going to stop? That type of thing. But it gets you kind of angry. It gets you kind of mad because you're sitting there, you've automatically done their job, which is to check you out, and you've loaded your own groceries into the bags, and they cut out all the teenage good jobs for them working at Walmart. It's stuff like that. They've done that. So you're already kind of irritated with them, okay? High prices. Yeah, their selection has gone completely down. Their own home brands are replacing everything, and they're not quite as good, and they're using crap ingredients, and I could go on about Walmart forever. But then you check out and you keep your receipt out. Remember the days of throwing the receipt in the bag? Well, you don't really do that anymore because now you got to go to the doors and the gatekeepers, to leave. The gatekeepers are there. You just spent, $300-$400 at Walmart, and now they want to check through your stuff to make sure that you're not stealing anything, because it's cheaper for them to put security guards at the door and check everybody like they're a criminal walking out than it is for them to just put cashiers in. Well, not anymore. Okay, here's the thing. Not everybody likes the responsibility or work of scanning their items and checking themselves out. Plus, guess what? There's still lines at the self-checkout lanes. Have you noticed that? And then they'll have 2 or 3 lines and they shut down 2 of them and they'll sit over there and giggle. The purple and green-haired people that stand there in Walmart. And they sit there and they look at you, and I think they're laughing because they're like, yeah, look at that. There's 10 carts in a row and they're all waiting. And yeah, we're not going to open up that other section. Well, Walmart has came up with a solution for a way to still make customers check themselves out, but they're going to eliminate lines altogether. Remember? It wasn't very long ago that these stores began to implement their scan and go technology. Have you heard about this? Now, the customers, that's you and me, you're able to scan items as you walk through the store and then pay on your phone when you're finished. What do you think about that? Then you got to walk through this new mobile express lane, okay? And it's going to be at the front of Walmart stores for security purposes. So they're literally designing more of a prison. Raise prices, have you get everything, use your phone to finish the business, and then go stand in an express lane to be checked to make sure that you didn't steal anything. What do you think? I want to know. Again, morningcrankers@gmail.com or go to morningcrankers.com. This is on tiphero.com if you want to look at this. What do you think? Do you like that idea better, that you can just load that stuff in, and as you're putting it in, you can scan it with your phone and, pay it right from your phone, and then you don't get to leave right away, though. You have to go through the express lane to make sure that you're not a criminal. You know what I'm saying? But speaking of criminals, Walmart, Florida principal. Okay, what could go wrong, right? Well, first of all, I want you to recognize this is Florida. All right. And a middle school principal. I want you to think about this. A man responsible for the safety and education of children got arrested for shoplifting at Walmart. He was skip scanning at self-checkout. Scanning a banana while bagging a steak. All right, now what did this super criminal get away with? $37. I want you to think about this. This guy is making 6 figures a year. He has the admiration of the students. He has the admiration of the, other teachers. He has the admiration of the parents. And he runs a school. Major responsibility. And guess what? He threw it away for $37. $37 wouldn't even fill up his gas tank. Now, when the cops questioned him, he admitted it. Said he learned the trick from friends and he was just trying to test it out. Dude, you're a principal. You administer tests. You take them to the schools. You take them to the students. And you know what? If a student is cheating on a test, what do you think you'd do? Okay, you don't take a test at the Walmart self-checkout. You don't do it. You got to understand where you're at. Walmart's kind of making it like a prison, okay? You're going to get caught. I'm in Walmart the other day, and my son's with me, and we're getting some groceries that night, and he grabbed the chocolate milk, and he pushed it past the thing, and it dinged, but he didn't set it down. So it dinged, and it priced it or whatever, put it up there, and then he put it back in the cart, and my thing literally stopped, and the red light came on, and the the prison guard, came over and says, well, let's see what made this thing angry. And he looks and he's like, oh yeah, so next time you get the milk, make sure that you set it down and then scan it so that it knows that it's here, that it just didn't scan through like you were trying to do too quickly or something. I'm like, all right, when are you going to put a list up of the do's and don'ts of going through Walmart self-checkout? Okay. And then why do I got to sit there? Literally, I want you to think about this. Prison, just like a cop car. Freaking cop car light goes off on top of it because you didn't set the milk down. You scanned it, but you didn't set it down after you scanned it. You know what I'm saying? Well, obviously this principal should not be teaching kids if he's just trying it out, trying to beat the system, cheat a little bit on the test. Well, I don't think so. Here's the thing. And I'm speaking to this guy. If he's listening, here's the thing. If you're going to throw away your career as a principal of the school, go big, brother. Just go big. Go load up a TV, grab a kayak. But you know what? This man sitting in a cell explaining to hardened criminals that he's in there for, kind of stealing some Lunchables, man. I just did one Lunchable at a time, but I had 2 or 3 stacked together, rolling it through. Yeah, $37 worth of groceries. That dude ought to get slapped just for being dumb. You know what I mean? There's no pill you can take for dumb. I mean, once you're dumb, you're just dumb for life. You can try to educate yourself, but usually dumb people, they're not very receptive to learning. Okay? Lesson of the day, children. If any children are listening, don't skip scan when your face is literally on your local school website. Okay? Hey, it is what it is. Now, another story in Florida. People are getting creative down there, okay, especially when it comes to Walmart. So they have a guy, he dresses up in a beer delivery uniform, and he brings in a pallet jack. He literally, with a pallet, he literally goes and gets a bunch of different kinds of beer, throws it on the pallet jack, and walks out of Walmart scot-free because they thought that he was the beer distributor. But in reality, he was just getting some beer together for a party he was throwing. See? At least that guy was creative. You know what I mean? Principals. Terrible, terrible thieves. Anyways, speaking of criminals, story number 3. This one is probably going to drop your IQ just by listening to it. Okay? We're going to head to the UK again. The place where you can go to prison for street preaching. There's a parked car on the street. Inside, police officers. Actually, multiple police officers in uniform. Up walks this criminal mastermind. Okay. Let's call him Muhammad. Okay. And Muhammad is about to carjack them. Now, what does Muhammad have? He has a paper bag. A paper bag. Not a gun, not a knife, a shopping bag from Primark. Okay, Muhammad runs up holding this paper bag, claims that there's a gun inside, and the cops just stared at him. Oh, I can just imagine this. Oi, mate, is that a paper bag? Yeah, but there's a gun in it, man. Is there, though? Could be. The report says officers did not feel threatened at all. We were not scared of a grocery bag, said one cop. A picture of Muhammad's thought process. Well, what is it? He's at home thinking, I need a weapon. I can't afford a gun. Well, what do I have? I have a paper bag. I just think about that for a second. Perfect, deadly, intimidating, and eco-friendly. I mean, people are getting dumb. All right, he gets arrested, and, the cops laughed about it for weeks. I hope you're laughing now. I mean, how damn dumb can you be? Now, you just tried to carjack with a paper bag. So you're going to prison, right? Imagine if you were his cellmate. Hey, what are you in for, man? Oh, attempted robbery. Really? What'd you use? A paper bag, man, and it had handles. I'd be like, get the hell out of my cell right now. Oh. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is why England lost the Revolutionary War. Too many paper bags and not enough common sense. Now, we're getting back to it. We're getting back to the Packers. We're getting back to Jerry Jones. And he made a little bit of a weird remark. Well, Dallas, okay? The Cowboys, they just played my beloved Packers. Final score was 40-40. A tie. Now, ties are weird. I don't know if anybody liked them. I do think that the Dallas Cowboys were happy to tie the Packers because they were severe underdogs. They thought they were going to get whooped. But it's kind of like this. A tie in a football game is kind of like if you order a pizza and then you get a calzone. Okay, it's just different. But after the game, reporters asked Cowboys owner Jerry Jones, "How do you feel about the tie?" And this is the weirdest thing ever. And, I didn't know, Texas was always Texas. I didn't know that Texas was South, if you know what I mean. But Jerry Jones paused, and he said, "Well, a tie is like kissing your sister." A tie is like what? Now, a tie is like kissing your sister. What? Okay, well, he's a billionaire, so I guess he gets to talk like that. I mean, if any other Southern person said that a tie is like kissing your sister, there would be serious repercussions, and they would probably get laughed out of the building. But I don't even know what that means exactly. Maybe it's one of those old sayings that I haven't heard from before, but I don't know what that means. A tie is like kissing your sister. Maybe you do. Maybe you know what that means. If you do, email me at morningcrankers@gmail.com. What is a tie, meaning like you're kissing your sister? That means you got to first base, but it was with your sister? I mean, is that what the hell he's talking about? I don't get it. I don't know. Jerry Jones, the billionaire. The dude has a multi-billion-dollar franchise. Okay? And out of all the things that he could say, he said that the tie with the Green Bay Packers was like kissing your sister. Well, if I was to combat that, all I would say is that the Cowboys are definitely the ugly sister, okay? So, I don't know what it means. Don't know if it means unsatisfying. Is that what he's saying, that when you kiss your sister, it's unsatisfying? But, I mean, is it like lukewarm coffee? Is that what you're saying? Is it like is a tie like a movie with no ending? I don't know. I think that he should choose to learn the English language and just choose that, okay? Obviously, he's not good at choosing players, if you know what I'm saying. Anyways, I don't know. Twitter went nuclear over it. There's memes everywhere. But damn, man, you couldn't have said something. Yeah, tie's like kissing your sister. yeah, I don't get it. I don't want to get it. But if you get it, email me. All right. Now, Bad Bunny. What do you think about this? Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl for the halftime show. I honestly don't know any Bad Bunny songs. I don't. It's got some mega folk angry. It's got some regular people angry. It's got everybody pissed off. I don't know anybody that would have said, "Hey, yeah, let's bring in Bad Bunny." Do you? Okay, the guy's too political. The guy doesn't even sing his songs in English. Okay, this is the Super Bowl. This is Americana to the max. And we're going to have somebody come in and sing a bunch of Spanish songs. That's really what it is. And then there's some people that say, yeah, well, it's not real music. Well, hey, music is art. Everybody has their own artistic, expression, whatever. But how about this? How about having somebody that's all American? I don't care. I don't care if it's a rapper. I don't care if it's a country artist. I don't care if it's a rock and roll. I don't care. Just how about somebody that comes and sings in English? Just that simple. Now, it's a halftime show. A very, very, very expensive halftime show. Okay, 15 straight minutes of thousands of dollars of fireworks, tens of thousands of dollars of dancers. Okay, this is not a damn Senate hearing, and I don't want it to be politicized and all this BS like we're watching. Am I wrong, folks? Am I wrong? This happens every single year, and I'm going to call it out here on Morning Crankers because, you know what, Morning Crankers, we're sports fans, all kinds of sports fans, and I am sick and tired of sports somehow becoming a culture battlefield for politics in this country. Does anybody else get sick of that? I mean, literally, you could have put on a show about, who was going to be in the Hall of Fame this year. You could have done anything other than hire somebody like this guy and many other guys that have just become completely politicized and just make it about being pro-American, about the love of football, the love of sports, the love of the camaraderie that you get with your friends and family when you throw parties, okay? Now, here's what's going to happen. There's going to be a lot of people that have this on in their room, their living room, or their cave that they have, their fun cave, their man cave. And then halftime's going to come and everybody's going to go get nachos and talk in the kitchen. I mean, that's literally what's going to happen this time, because what's the point of listening to, words to a song if you don't know how to speak the language? Okay? Now, I remember all the way back, Janet Jackson. Remember her boob popped out. Okay, then Beyonce, she made it political. Then Shakira, she was too much of a slut. Okay, well, too sexy. Okay. Whatever. Whatever. Is it going to cause a national crisis? No, but I think I'm with everybody else where politics are they're annoying. Okay, they're pissing me off because they're getting into the things that we like to do, right? Amen? Hey? Well, I don't know. Because I can see it on both sides. I can see when the people that are mad about Bad Bunny, they loved it when Kid Rock was shooting Bud Light cans with an AR-15. Okay? I get it. I see it. I don't like it. All right? I don't like it. And I don't think really anybody does. I mean, everybody knows where my politics lie, and they're sure not with the group that doesn't know what a woman is. Okay? You know what I'm saying? But let's have about an inkling in everything about coming together and unifying in this great country of America. All right? And let's speak our language, at least when you're doing like a Super Bowl show like that, where the majority of the people aren't going to know what you're saying. How about that? Be considerate of the people that don't speak that language. Okay? I've never met an American that doesn't know how to speak English. Have you? Yeah, well, it is what it is. But supposedly, Bad Bunny is one of the biggest artists on earth. He's got billions of streams, well, some of them do. And the NFL picked him because he's popular. Yeah, right. Well, the NFL came out and they addressed that he doesn't sing in English, and they said, music is universal. Half of you sing Despacito and don't know a single word. Yeah, well, I'm going to call a big bullshit on that, okay? It is what it is. But at the end of the day, we're America. We are a melting pot. If you can handle Kamichi on your hot dog, but not Spanish at the Super Bowl, I guess you're left with, where do I draw the line? It is what it is. Halftime shows are supposed to be fun, okay? Remember Prince halftime show? Probably the best halftime show ever. Okay, Lady Gaga jumping off the roof. I mean, yeah, that was all weird stuff, but I would say Bad Bunny is worst case scenario. Okay, all the dads out there and grandpas are going to be like, turn this crap off. Wait till the game comes back on. America loves to regurgitate BS. Now we're heading back down to Florida. Okay, we go to Florida a lot because there's a lot of crazy mofos in Florida. There is. Okay, 2 Florida men got arrested for stealing mail. Okay, and not just a little bit of mail, 200 pounds of mail. 200 pounds. Okay, now this is not a crime of opportunity. That's like Ocean's 11 Post Office Edition. Okay, you got to have planning, you got to have a vehicle, you probably have to have a chiropractor lined up. Literally, I got to ask the question. If you steal 200 pounds of mail, what are you hoping to find? Are you hoping to find cash? Are you hoping to find jewelry? I mean, are you looking for a Bed Bath & Beyond coupon? I mean, it says that they were using stolen mail to go on shopping sprees, which kind of makes me question a couple things. Where are you finding mail that lets you shop? Is it birthday cards? Is it like, crypto information? I mean, what is it? Because obviously they're not trying to steal my mail, because the things that I get in my mail are usually bills. Okay, bills on top of bills on top of bills. And then I get a bunch of, come with us, credit card offers, 0%, no annual fee, those kind of things constantly. It's either Chotsky, which, if you know other languages, Chotsky, okay, or bills. So I don't know where they're getting money to go do this stuff and have fun and be able to, it is what it is. And what did they do with that? What if it was a credit card statement? Okay, what if they didn't get it? Did they just throw it away? This could really be harmful. What if it was a jury summons? If you don't show up for jury duty, they could throw you in jail. Okay, you know what I'm saying? But who would think to go steal 200 pounds of mail? All right, that's a lot of damn mail. Okay, and then who's going to turn it in? Okay, literally, who's going to turn in stolen mail? Do you think there's going to be some old lady sitting outside her house with binoculars saying, "Come on, Harold, to call the police. These boys are walking out with bags of mail." Yeah, well, I don't think. Here's the thing. Mail theft is no joke. It is a federal crime. Okay? If you mess with the mail, you're literally messing with an institution that has been around America since Benjamin Franklin. Neither snow nor rain stay these couriers. That's their motto. But, well, I don't know. There's nothing in there that says we're going to let it slide if you steal our stuff. Don't mess with the mail. And if you're going to commit a crime, which I do not recommend whatsoever, make it worth the mugshot, okay? Florida, congratulations, you've done it again, always. Now, finally, our final story for the show. We're ending on golf. That's right, the sport of gentlemen, the hushed whispers, manicured grass, pants that should be illegal. Except lately, golf has kind of gotten unhinged. Okay, Bryson DeChambeau punched himself in the face on camera. Okay, yeah, I mean, not a shining star of intelligence. I mean, if you're going to punch yourself, but before an interview, cameras were rolling, Bryson balls up his fist and smacked himself in the jaw. Not a light tap either, literally a full closed fist punch. Okay, well, the internet lost it. They wanted to know, did Bryson fight himself? Who won? Is this a special training technique? Yeah, because people can't believe that other people are that damn dumb, especially rich guys. Okay? Some say that he was just trying to psych himself up. But usually athletes try to do that in private, not on live TV, while camera TV operators are watching in horror. So there's the question, okay? Is that considered violence? Is self-violence, like punching yourself in the face, is that the same thing as like being taken down on YouTube because you videotaped a fight? Is it? I mean, is that part of the golf show going to have to, have a warning on it because somebody punched himself? I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just, somewhere there is a sports psychologist, and they've already started drafting self-inflicted violence as performance enhancement, a golf case study. I mean, there's literally somebody out there doing that. Okay, now the second thing that happened was Rory McIlroy at the Ryder Cup. Okay, he's lining up a crucial putt, trying to focus. And a fan starts heckling him with squeaky rubber ducks. No booze, not chance, ducks. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Imagine trying to sink a putt with rubber duckies blasting. That's not golf. That's the Sesame Street Extreme. It's a Happy Gilmore. Literally. Okay, so security dragged him out. Rory McIlroy was furious, but also that was kind of the funniest heckle ever. Forget cowbells. I want squeaky ducks every time at the sporting event. Maybe football, maybe baseball. But if we did that, maybe we can get back at the political people. Okay, this is what I'm saying. It's, the Bad Bunny thing at, the Super Bowl. How about this? How about let's take ducks? Let's make it a statement. Let's take it into the football arenas. Let's take it in for golf. Let's do it with baseball. Let's do it with basketball. And finally, let's let a whole bunch of Americans that really want to go out and, do the American thing. And instead of screaming and creating violence, how about they take a bunch of ducks and start squeaking them during political debates? How about that? I mean, could that gain some steam? Well, if it does, just say that you heard it here first on Morning Cranker, so you know that, we don't mess around on this show. We're all about freedom. But the moral of this story at the very end is simply, you know what? Golf may look classy, but underneath, it's a pressure cooker of rich people losing their minds. One's punching himself and one's being attacked by bath toys. And we're here to watch all of it. Anyways, that is the show for today. Thank you for listening. From pantless commutes to Florida's dumbest principal to paper bag bandits to Jerry Jones family quotes, Bad Bunny backlash into Looney Tunes at the golf course. If today has taught us anything, folks, it's that humanity is not getting smarter. But for us, it's getting funnier. Now remember, go hit that subscribe button, share with your friends, send me some of your dumb stories at morningcrankers@gmail.com. Go check out morningcrankers.com. And if you're out there forgetting pants or fighting rubber ducks, I want to hear about it. This has been Morning Crankers. I'm Hans. Stay cranky, stay caffeinated, and I'll see you next Wednesday.
Ha ha ha!